Hi. In the previous video, we have discussed about what do you mean by nucleic acid microarray, their types and the application, and the protein microarray. What are the different types of protein microarray? That is forward and reverse phase protein microarray. And coming to the application of the protein microarray, it has a various application, that is the biomarker profiling, enzyme substrate profiling, small molecule profiling, antibody specificity profiling, protein-protein interaction profiling. Protein microarray, these are potentially the powerful tool in the biochemistry and molecular biology. They provide a powerful tool to profile the protein-protein interaction in high throughput and to quantify the abundance and the post-translational modification of different kinds of protein in complex mixture. Coming to the first application, that is biomarker profiling. They are used as a this interaction, they are useful for the identification of the or profiling of the biomarker for the various kinds of disease. Protein microarray, it has been successfully used for the biomarker to identification from the number of different diseases, including but not to limit to the but not for the colon cancer, breast carcinoma, and the prostate cancer. With the high specificity effective for the high abundance protein, the protein microarray, it has been a high throughput technique for the analysis of the complex biological specimen, and they are used to identify the serum biomarkers for cancer as a simple, sensitive, and the highly reproducible method. This protein microarray, it has emerged and provided the ease for the identification of the serum biomarkers for the cancer as a simple, sensitive, and the highly reproducible method. The next application is enzyme substrate profiling. Protein microarray technology is an excellent method to identify the enzyme substrate, because here we mainly deal with the interaction between the different two protein molecules, or the between the protein and the DNA molecule. Based upon the interaction, the in case of enzyme substrates also, they follow the same mechanism based upon which they are used for the identification of the enzyme substrate, especially for profiling the kinase, ubiquin, ligase, and methyltransferase for target discovery and validation. Protein microarray, their exposure to the cellular extracts could offer a rapid and convenient means of identifying the modified proteins, and it has been adapted to study the numerous modification, including the phosphorylation, methylation, ubiquition, simulation, nadylation, and nitrosylation. Based upon the identification or studying the interaction between the different enzymes and the substrate, the method of reaction which it follows can be named. Next is the small molecule profiling. By detecting the radio-labeled biotinylated or fluorescently labeled small molecule against the functional protein, the possible target with the protein microarray, it could be profiled. By determining the radio-labeled or the fluorescently marked functional proteins, the based upon which the possible targets with the protein microarray, it could be profiled. Based upon the interaction, this can be the possible drug molecule which can be used as a remedy that can be customized. The microarray protein, they have also been successfully used to discover the targets of corneal stroma, extracellular matrix glycosaminoglycans, including the keratin sulfate, chondroitin sulfate A, and hyaluronic acid. All these are identified based upon this protein microarray technique. And the next is protein-protein interaction. They can be used to profile the certain purified protein against the functional protein and identify the possible binding partners. Both the purified protein and the functional protein. The functional protein, it is considered as a standard, and the purified protein, that is the protein function which need to be determined. These two, they are taken, and the possible binding patterns between the two, they are regulated. They are identified a total based upon which the total of 112 protein interactors, in which more than 30 were kinase, which while at least 25 were involved in the signal transduction. This came into a conclusion. And antibody specificity profiling. Antibodies are the most widely used protein ligand for all the proteins in the human and other proteomes. Antibody specificity is the key feature for determining an antibody's value, and it is important for research and therapeutic antibody development. This method has developed a high affinity ligand that specifically binds a target protein in a single discovery step. By determining the antigen specificity, we can determine the antibody value based upon which the therapeutic antibody development that can be done. This is about the nucleic acid and the protein microarray and their application in the drug discovery. Next, coming to the antisense technology. This is somewhat different from the other two, where here the double stranded RNA molecule, it is synthesized and it is an inactive form. Usually the RNA, it is mRNA, which is used for the protein synthesis, is a single stranded, but the double stranded or the complementary strand of the RNA, it is prepared by the help of certain enzymes so that it halts the protein synthesis. The disease cell producing the protein, it is further stopped. In antisense technology, the produced complementary molecules they seek out and bind to the messenger RNA, blocking the final step of protein production. The mRNA is the nucleic acid molecule that carries the genetic information from the DNA to the other cellular machinery involved in the protein production. Usually the mRNA molecule, it contains the gene that is the message for the synthesis of the protein, and this protein is required for the various function. For the carrier of this function, the message which is carried by the mRNA is very much important, and this is halted by the process of this antisense technology so that the further production of the protein is delayed. And by binding to the mRNA, the complementary strand, by binding with the mRNA molecule, the antisense drug interrupt and inhibit the production of the specific disease-related protein. The targets are nothing but the drugs. They bind with the mRNA and prevents the further production of the specific disease-related protein. The sense, it refers to the original sequence of the DNA or the RNA molecule, whereas the antisense, it refers to the complementary sequence of the DNA and the RNA molecule. The basic idea between this antisense technology is that if an oligonucleotide, a short RNA or the DNA molecule which is complementary to the mRNA which is produced by the gene, to the complement of the mRNA molecule, either the DNA or the RNA molecule, if they are introduced into the cell, it will specifically bind with the target mRNA through the specificity of the complementary base pairing, which is similar to that of the nucleic acid base pairing as we have seen earlier. It can also be seen between the two nucleotides, that is the complementary base pairing. If we add this complementary strand of the oligonucleotide, which is complement to the mRNA molecule, there is an interaction or the hybridization takes place between the mRNA and the oligonucleotide which is added by us. And after the interaction, which is similar to that of the DNA replication, which halts the fidelity of the DNA replication and of the RNA transcription from the gene. And this binding forms a RNA dimer. After the formation of the complementary base pairing, and it guarantees the fidelity of the DNA replication. The DNA replication is further altered and then the RNA transcription from the gene. The process is stopped. And the binding, it forms to the single strand of the RNA molecule, if the complementary oligonucleotide it binds to it, it forms the double-stranded RNA molecule, that is the dimer in the cytoplasm. And this dimer, does not contain the essential messenger for the further production of the protein, so it halts the protein synthesis. So the further production of the disease related protein is stopped. And this occurs because the mRNA no longer has the access to the ribosome and the cytoplasm by the ribonucleotides H. That is actually, this is the slide which has to be opened. That is the complementary oligonucleotide that is complementary to the mRNA if it is introduced. It binds with the mRNA with a complementary base pairing, that is the hybridization process. If the oligonucleotide having the complementary bases with the mRNA molecule, if it is introduced, it binds with the target mRNA with the complementary base pairing. And this formation of the complementary base pairing, there is a formation of a dimer molecule, and the mRNA it should be single stranded for the production of the protein, but after the binding of the oligonucleotide, it forms a double stranded, and it halts the further protein synthesis. The antisense strands, it binds to the mRNA sense strand. It is recognized as a foreign. Our body recognizes the double stranded RNA molecule as a foreign and degrades the faulty mRNA and prevents the further production of the undesired protein. And hence the mRNA, it has the no longer access to the ribosomes and the cytoplasm, hence it is cleaved by the RNase H. This is the cellular enzyme which gets activated when the antisense drugs, when they bind to the target RNA and activate the RNase H. Upon activation, it seeks out and destroys the target mRNA, inhibiting the cell's production of the specific protein. Formation of the dimer, the body recognizes the mRNA, it has a foreign molecule and causes the activation of this RNase H. It seeks out and destroys the target mRNA, inhibiting the cell's production of the specific protein. This is about the principle of the antisense technology. When the majority of the antisense technology drugs in our scenario, they bind with the RNase and inhibits the production of the disease-causing protein through the RNase H mechanism. Compared with the other two methodologies, it is somewhat different and it is highly reasonable. Next, but the exact mechanism by which the translation is blocked is unknown. And the RNA interference is an antisense mechanism that involves using the small interfering or the siRNA to target the mRNA. This process is similar to that of the RNA interference where there is a formation of the RISC, but here there is an involvement of the RNase H. And the several theories have been put forth for the determining the blocking affinity of the compound. They are that the double-stranded RNA prevents the ribosome from binding to the sense RNA and translating, and the double-stranded RNA, it cannot be transported from within the nucleus to the cytoplasm, that is where the translation occurs, and the double-stranded RNA is susceptible to the endonucleases that would otherwise not affect the single-stranded RNA that degrades the double-stranded RNA. Here, it prevents the ribosomes. Either it moves into the cytoplasm and prevents the ribosome 30 and the 50S ribosomal subunit for binding to the mRNA for the further protein synthesis. That is one such mechanism. Or it does not move into the cytoplasm also. The synthesis of the mRNA takes place in the nucleus. In order for the protein synthesis to take place, it need to be moved into the cytoplasm. Since it is a double-stranded molecule, it cannot efficiently travel to the cytoplasm and halts the protein synthesis. And the double-stranded DNA, it is and this is one such mechanism, and the other is it activates the other endonucleases enzyme which destroys the double-stranded RNA and degrades, that is the RNase H, it degrades the double-stranded RNA and prevents the further synthesis of the protein. These are the assumptions which are made for the mechanism that would underlie the antisense technology. Next, coming to the application, the drug discovery efforts have historically focused on the search for the compounds that modulate the protein products of gene. And the development of this antisense oligonucleotide technology as a therapeutic agent, it has led to the FDA approval for the commercialization of the first antisense oligonucleotide, that is the formiviricin, which is used for the treatment of the cytomegalovirus virus induced rhinitis in patients which are affected by the AIDS. The development of this formiviricin, it is taken place by the mechanism of this antisense oligonucleotide technology. And the recent discovery of the potent RNA interference mechanism for the sequence-specific gene silencing has also started a new era in Antisense technology. Based upon this antisense technology, the RNA interference mechanism have also been started. And the double-stranded short interfering RNAs were found to silence the target mRNA almost 100-fold more effectively than the single-stranded antisense phosphorylate oligonucleotide, even though only the antisense strands of the siRNA is incorporated in the RNA-inducing silencing complex. This is the another application of the antisense technology. Thank you. Thank you for watching the role of nucleic acids, protein and the antisense technology. Thank you. Thank you one and all.